Keegan Brownell, son of Michael and Kristen Brownell. Reed Knitter, son of Jay and Pam Knitter. Cameron Osborne, son of Vernon Osborne and Rhonda Carney. Cameron's being escorted tonight by Wendy Osborne.
Let's go ahead and talk about how an individual can score points. Just running down real quick, a point for an escape, takedown, and reversal are both 2 points. Back points, if you get a 2 to 4 count, it's 2 points. A 5 count is 3 points. How about a team? How can they score? Well, a forfeit or winning by fall gets you 6 points. A tech fall, winning by 15 plus, gets you 5 points. A major decision, winning by 8 to 14, gets you 4 points. And a decision, winning by 7 or less, gets your team 3 points. So that's how the scoring will go tonight for these two teams. 2 quality programs. Maybe that's an understatement. Abilene, a 4-time state championship school. Clay Center. Not many teams can say they've won more than 4. Well, Clay Center can. They've won 6 state championships. Here's what we'll see tonight at 106. Caleb Stroda taking on Garrett Calvota. 113. And 120, Clay Center is open. At 126, we will see Javin Welsh against Parker Tholstrup from Clay Center. At 132, Clay Center is open. 138, we'll see Jackson Randalls taking on Reed Knitter. 145, Austin Withnow taking on Ethan Kirkby. At 152, Braden Surrett taking on Ethan Alquist. And the lights are going off. Yep, they're setting the mood here in Clay Center. Trenton Withnow at 160 for Abilene taking on Sean Little of Clay Center. 170 and 182, the Tigers are open. 195, Josiah Swartz taking on Zach Bollinger of Clay Center. 220, Clay Center is open. And 285, Brandon Parker taking on Logan McDonald of Clay Center. And when we see Brandon Parker there, now you had Taylor Withnow take his spot. Beat him to get that 220 spot. So we don't have Adam Henley going tonight. He has a shoulder injury, so that allows Parker to get back into the starting lineup, Curtis.
Yeah, that depth is very nice to have. Brandon had a really good season at 220. And, you know, with Henley needing to have a little bit of time, he's able to do that, and we don't really, you know, miss it too much with Brandon moving up. Brandon will be giving up a little bit of weight, but he'll be fine.
Now, folks are going to be able to watch us on Eagle Communications. If you have cable, they'll hear our broadcast over the viewing of this duel. And we do have a JV match underway, and it's at 132 pounds. And Curtis out there, that is Rowdy Kuntz. Yeah. And Curtis is a guy, folks, if you don't know him, he's been around the sport of wrestling his whole life, currently helping out with the kids wrestling program in Abilene, so you probably know Rowdy. He's taking on Eve Massey of Clay Center.
Yeah, and Rowdy does get the takedown. And is actually, he was working a half Nelson. He still is, yeah, working. He might, oh, he's doing a pretty good job, taking his time, working it, getting it deep. Oh, well, not as deep as it should be, but he's still got his half in there. I'm sure he's got his back points, and he does get the fall. So it's just over a minute into the match. Rowdy Kuntz wins by fall.
So Kuntz wins by fall, 53.9 into the match.
Rowdy, a freshman for the team, so yeah, great to get this experience.
His brother Ryder is a junior, and Eve Massey, by the way, a sophomore, just to throw all that out there as well. We have one more JV match. This is Lindsey Beekman taking on Leslie Kramer, and Lindsey is a freshman, and for them, Leslie Kramer is a freshman as well. So, as I said, you're a guy that's been around the sport your whole life, and you're now seeing girls getting more and more involved, and it shows right here in this match. This may be the first ever time I've watched a girl taking on a girl, and that's telling you the strides that they're making with the sport. Right,
yeah, and they will actually have their girls' state tournament. February 9th is when that is. They work it so that the girls can go to the girls' state tournament and still be able to go to regionals for boys and girls the following weekend. And it's not Acacia sport yet, but it's probably going to be the next year or two, I'd say.
And that will be in McPherson, correct?
Correct. So these two may face off again in a couple weeks, or I guess just over a week, isn't it?
So again, you have out there Lindsey Beekman and Leslie Kramer. Just moments ago, we had Rowdy Coons, a freshman of Abilene. He pinned Eve Massey. So this will be the final JV match, and then the first varsity match will be Caleb Stroda and Garrett Calvoda. And before we get to that, we'll have the face-off, correct?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
That'll take a little bit of time, but won't be as long as usual since
yeah, right.
Be a little bit short on Clay Center side, unfortunately.
Yep, Clay Center has 6 open weights tonight, folks, so just 8 matches, usually 14 if both teams are full.
Yeah, I was just thinking that, of our JV matches, there's 2 matches, 4 wrestlers, 3 of them were girls. That's pretty awesome.
And this is my 17th year of doing it, so yeah, it really seems like even within the last 5 years, it's really taken off for females.
Yeah, and you really see it, the college and the world levels is kind of what's driving this, I believe. They've really taken on the women into the world and college levels. So.
And we have a good matchup here, Curtis. No score after 1 period between these two, with Leslie Kramer of Clay and Lindsey Beekman of Abilene. I can't say I know Leslie Kramer very well because I'm from Abilene, but heard a lot of good things about Lindsey Beekman.
Yeah, Lindsay's been around the sport for a while. She's definitely experienced. And in that first period, they both had, really good chances to score, took some decent shots, but just couldn't convert on them. Lindsay starts out the second period in the top position. Somebody, I'm guessing it was Dad, instructing her to try the power half, so she does. It's a little bit loose on the hips. Trying to recover, and she does.
She has an older brother, Logan, that is part of the football team at Abilene High School.
Wrestled last year, had I believe an injury, so he wouldn't have been able to wrestle till the second half, and just decided to go ahead and let it continue healing and make sure and come back next year stronger. So I believe he's a sophomore, right?
I think so, that sounds right. All starts to blend together a little bit.
And Lindsey Beekman from Abilene still.
Yeah, he's listed on the roster still, so he is a sophomore.
Lindsay still in the top position still. Working her power half again.
Still no score in this JV match here between Lindsey Beekman and Lindsey Kramer in the second period.
Lindsay's in a little bit of trouble now. Her hips down on the mat. See if she can work her way out of this and come out on top or get back points, but it's not looking good for Lindsay, and she does give up the 2 points with 30 seconds left here in the second period. So Lindsey Beekman from Abilene now down 2-0 in this match. And we talked before how bottom position is typically the scoring position, so it's no big surprise that Kramer from Clay Center would score there, and Lindsay has the advantage. She'll be most likely in the bottom position in this third period, which as the second period comes to an end.
And it is senior night here in Clay Center. A nice crowd continues to file in for this duel tonight between these two 4A powers. We'll only see one of the seniors, though, compete. That is Reed Knitter at 138 pounds, but also seniors for the Tigers, Cameron Osborne and Keegan Brownell. So congratulations to them for their career here at Clay Center.
Yeah, those are 2 good wrestlers, too, that they have, aren't able to wrestle. So
2-0.
Lindsey Beekman does start out in the bottom position, and actually Kramer just about got back points just a few seconds ago, but Lindsay does a good job of fighting it off. Minute and a half left here in the third period. Like I said, we may see this match again at Girls State in just over a week. That would be exciting to see. Could be.
And with the
I was going to say let's dream maybe a championship match.
Yeah,
who knows?
Hopefully. Both of them look very good.
Yeah.
It's 2-0 right now with Kramer on top of Beekman with 1:05 to go here in the third period. But what I was going to say is we're not knowledgeable on any records on these kids. They don't really keep JV records, or at least they're not given to me.
Right, yeah, they're not readily available for us. But I can tell you these two girls know how to wrestle, that's for sure.
48 seconds to go. Beekman down 2-0 and on the bottom right now.
Yeah, she does get up to her base, so now maybe she can work the escape. That's just 1 point though. She got part of it back. Still another point to go. Oh, nice. Lindsay does get the takedown.
Right.
So Lindsay pulls ahead 3-2. 25 seconds left in this match. This could be the best match of the evening for us, to tell you the truth. And
it was really good.
And it's not like this is sloppy. These girls know what they're doing. This is great.
Beekman gets the takedown with 30 seconds left to take a 3-2 lead. 7 seconds left now.
And now she needs to just ride it out on top and take the win, and she does. Nice win for Lindsay Beekman.
Heck of a win for her. Again, gets the winning points with just 30 seconds left. Lindsay Beekman, your winner. She wins 3-2. You're listening to Abilene Clay Center Wrestling on KABI. Trent Sanchez alongside my partner and friend Curtis Ryan.
And they just flipped a coin, and it would determine who has choice in which match. You know, odds or evens. And when I say choice, the choice in the second period. You know, the first period you start up on your feet, both wrestlers do. And in the second period, they'll have a choice, top, bottom, defer, or neutral.
And we're going to see one of the best matchups of the night. Caleb Stroda, freshman, 22-12, taking on Garrett Calvoda, a freshman, 17-12. Abilene in the orange. Now, you said this is your nephew. These two have never wrestled?
Not that we're aware of. I actually checked with Caleb's dad, and he couldn't remember them wrestling either. Even though they're same age and very similar weight, neither one of us can remember them wrestling.
Abilene as a team ranked 10th. Caleb Stroda ranked number 6.
Caleb gets a nice takedown there. Caleb's been starting out matches really well. And I tell you what, Calavoda just hits a nice switch and ties this thing up.
Again, Abilene has not wrestled since January the 19th. Usually for Clay Center, they send out Rhett Koppes. Koppes 2-0 against Caleb Stroda, the younger Stroda, but Koppes not available tonight. I've been told that some sickness going through the Clay Center program.
Yeah, I tell you what, though, Calavoda can wrestle, and you know he has a 17-12 record coming in, but all of that's at 113, as far as I know. It's all I've seen results for him at is 113. So, you know, the last time Caleb and Koppes wrestled, it was 4-2, so it was a close match. So, I'm sure that Calavoda wrestles Koppes fairly close in the room too. And I tell you what, having a practice partner of that level every day really helps a wrestler. And Caleb looking to come out the back door and try to get a couple, but Calavoda is doing all he can to not let that happen. Caleb has 20 seconds here to try to work out of it. Oh, they give him 2, and he's getting back points, Caleb Stroda is, so he will get 2 for the reversal. And then right now he has earned 2 additional back points. So that makes the score 6-2 here in favor of Caleb Stroda as we finish the first period.
So 4-2 the score with Caleb Stroda on top of Garrett Calvoda.
6-2.
Oh, excuse me,
They
6-2.
they gave the 2 back points right near the end.
Okay, 6-2, I beg your pardon.
Calavoda chooses the bottom position to start the second period. He had a nice reversal in the first period. Let's see if he can do it again. Nice stand up, fighting. Caleb returns him, but I'll tell you, Calavoda's not going to stop fighting, that's for sure. Caleb do a nice job on top. Looking for a cradle here. Caleb has farm boy strength and long arms, so cradles are a good fit for him.
And we're going to see Caleb's brother at least come out onto the map. Matt in the next weight class. He's not going to have an opponent, though. Will Stroda ranked #1 in the state.
Yeah, on his 17th birthday, unfortunately, he doesn't get a match.
So again, Caleb, just a freshman, taking on Calvoda, just a freshman. Usually Rhett Coppice is at this weight for the Tigers, ranked 3rd in the state. Not able to go tonight. And Curtis, we have regionals just around the corner. Now, the cutoff for seedings would probably be the middle of next week, wouldn't it?
Oh, they'll have them through Marysville.
Okay, so they'll have them through the end of next week?
Yep, they'll be able to get them all. They won't do seedings for the tournament until right before it starts.
Okay.
Yeah. Or shortly before.
It's a little different than basketball.
Right, exactly, yeah.
And both of these teams will be at Lindsborg Smoky Valley in the same regional.
Yeah, all of the league schools will be there.
That'd be Abilene, Clay Center, Chapman, Concordia, Marysville, and Wamego.
So 30 seconds left here in the second period. Caleb still at the top position.
And that's the one thing to keep in mind, too. Abilene's still fighting for an NCKL championship. Now, they'll be a big underdog against Marysville when they compete next Friday. And, of course, they still have this tonight and Chapman next Thursday. Don't want to overlook those two.
Right. Can't look over anybody in this league because it is a quality league.
But, I mean, I didn't even do the math. I'm sure I probably should have. But at this point, it's going to be very hard for Clay. I mean, are they even mathematically out of this? Clay? Well, no, I guess not. No, I guess not. They're really put behind the 8 ball, though, with so many open weights.
Yeah, giving up that many points, 36 points before you even really start.
Still 6-2 our score as we go into the final period with Stroda on top.
Yeah.
Caleb Stroda.
Caleb will be in the bottom position here to start the third. Ahead 6-2, so there were no points in that second period. Caleb was able to ride Calavoda out, which is difficult to do.
And you know, Abilene has been at some of the same spots that Marysville has, and I talked to Coach Stout about this before. Abilene's close, but just not quite up to that level that they're at right now.
Yeah, and I tell you, we wrestled them in Abilene at the Abilene tournament in December, early December. Marysville really, they were well out in front of us. I guess that's the nice way to put it. And then at Beloit, it got a lot closer. Now, I will say that Marysville is without one of their quality wrestlers in Atreyu Hornbeek, who is out for the season, I understand.
Okay.
So that's one reason they dropped in the rankings also. That's a lot of points in a state tournament coming out.
That's too bad.
Probably 20 or 20-some points out of your state tournament points. So that's tough. Hornbeek being the wrestler that Dakota Whiteley wrestled for 5th and 6th last year, and so Hornbeek took 6th last year.
Well, Curtis, you got Caleb here getting some more
Caleb,
points.
Yeah, he gets a takedown, escape, takedown, and he's getting back points here. Caleb looking for the fall right on the edge of the mat, right near his Abilene teammates who are cheering him on. I tell you what, these Stroda boys, they do have that farm boy strength, and that is not a place you want to be underneath one of them with them wrapping up your head. So let's see, he has 22 seconds left here to try to work the shoulders down and get that fall. This will be a very nice win for Caleb regardless, because Calavoda is a very good wrestler. And Caleb does get the pin with 11 seconds left. Nice effort by Caleb Stroda, freshman from Abilene.
So wouldn't that be 5:49 into the match?
Yes.
So he wins by fall, 5:49 into the match. You are listening to Abilene and Clay Center Wrestling on the General KABI. What an awesome atmosphere for high school wrestling here in Clay Center. Abilene up now in this duel 18-0 because they got a couple of forfeit victories at 113 Will Stroda and then 120 Gus Haug. Happy birthday again to Will Stroda. Now here at 126, Javin Welsh, a freshman, 5-7, taking on Parker Tholstrup, ranked 3rd in the state, a sophomore, 18-5. And look at this, Curtis, right to work.
Yeah, Javin just really undersized in this match. I'll I'll throw that out there. Javin started out the year at 106, couldn't make varsity, so he moved up to 113. To help the team, he's wrestling wherever they need him, as evidenced by tonight. So he's moving up to 126. He spent some time varsity at 120. But tonight he's doing what he can to help out the team at 126 against Parker Tholstrup, who, you know, as we mentioned, ranked 3rd in state, coming off a very quality win against Crownover of Marysville. Not just a win, a pin. So, yeah. And a state qualifier from last year, also at 120. So.
And that's the thing about Clay. Abilene hasn't wrestled since the 19th, so Clay did get in a tournament this past weekend at Baldwin, so they haven't had the layoff that Abilene has, so that's good for them.
Yeah, so still 2-0 here. So flurry of action at the beginning, but we've settled down a little bit. Oh, Tholstrup is getting his chicken wing in on that right side and doing what he can to work Javin over. Javin doing all he can to fight it off, but boy, it's tough when you're giving up that much in weight. But Javin will do all he can, you know, and it's not Tholstrup's fault. He just has to go out there and take care of business. That's what he does.
And he's a kid that gives his Tiger program some hope. You want to see them get back on track if you're a Clay Center fan. I mean, these are just tremendous wrestling fans. The atmosphere is tremendous here tonight.
Yeah, Tholstrup just a sophomore. So he's a state qualifier last year as a freshman at 120, and now he's back for his sophomore year and getting people's attention. You know, obviously, when you move up to 3rd, Tholstrup will get 3 back points here to take a 5-0 lead as we head into the 2nd period.
And if you're Javin Walsh, it's just those little victories. You know, if he can just hang with him, if you're from Abilene, you want to see him win, but again, he's at his disadvantage here size-wise. If he can just battle and avoid losing by a fall. Yeah,
and you know, you're just building, and he'll see things in this match he wouldn't see at a JV tournament, let's say. So he's going to learn from this.
How does that help you when you get to be a junior, senior, when you finally find that weight, when you've got to move around and see all these different weights? Is it the fact you're seeing different styles at different weights?
Yeah, and they are definitely different. You know, the smaller guys he would wrestle at 106, 113, you know, they're faster, they're quicker. Not that 126 guys are slow, don't get me wrong, but it's a lot of motion. And once you get up to, you know, 26 and up in there, it is more strength. You know, they're getting a lot more muscle on them at those weights. And, you know, many times you'll see upperclassmen. Parker Tholstrup here is, you know, not necessarily the case there, sophomore, but he's obviously a very good sophomore as he scores 2 here on Javin to take a 7-0 lead, and had Javin on his back for a second, but Javin able to get back to his belly. Speaking of little victories, that would be one, you know, getting out of that. And right now, you know, Javin's learning how to fight on bottom, and when you're undersized on bottom, you really learn position. You can't do the little things wrong. If you do the little things wrong, you are going to pay and pay quickly. So Parker Tholstrup has that chicken wing in again. Trying to work Javin onto his back, and does get Javin on his back. We'll get some back points here, but Parker gets the fall for Clay Center. So 1:10 left here in the
2:50
second period. Yep. Parker Tholstrup from Clay Center earns the fall.
Yep, so he gets the pin, 2:50 into the match against Gavin Welsh. Again, as you said, Tholstrup the winner. Again, we want to thank these sponsors for making Abilene and Clay Center Wrestling possible. Stevens Chiropractic of Abilene, West Plaza Country Mart, Midwest Greyhound Supply of Abilene, American Family Insurance, Brian Teichman Agency. We had an open weight at 132 for Clay Center. Abilene sent out Scott Riffle, and the score right now 24-6. We move now to a match that I know I'm excited about, and I know you are too. 138, Jackson Randall's taking on Reed Knitter. Jackson a junior, 19-11. Reed Knitter a senior, 23-9. Again, these two have faced off with Knitter winning earlier this year.
Yeah, by a 13-4 decision. We'll see what adjustments Jackson has made since then.
And that was at Harrington.
Correct, yeah. And, you know, it's senior night here. We have a senior, Reed Knitter. You know, he's wanting to go out the right way. in his eyes. He tries an arm drag there, doesn't quite get it. They head out of bounds, come back to the center, and go at it some more. Jackson's been doing well for Abilene since he came in as a freshman. Looking for his first state berth this year, though. He'll when we get to regionals. And, Jackson gets in on a leg, but they're just out of bounds. I have some notes here, but I can hardly read them because I guess to set the atmosphere for people at home, it's dark in the gym, except for there's one spotlight over the wrestling mat that illuminates the mat. So the rest of the gym is fairly dark. So it
makes you think of the big prize fights, boxing matches, and that's what I said. That just really makes, they know how to do it right here in Clay Center. It makes for a pretty neat atmosphere.
Yeah, this is the way they do it at many big wrestling tournaments also. The spotlight, you're under the spotlight. Jackson trying to get in on a shot. Just can't quite get to Reed's legs. Now Reed's in a front headlock position, but just, thought they were going to go out of bounds, but not quite. They have expanded the out of bounds this year, so it's not quite as quick. They have a little bit more room to roam around the edge of the mat.
Is that for the fact that athletes are getting bigger, you think?
And they're following more I think you're right. I mean, look at the weight classes, you know. we've gone way to the heavy side. I shouldn't say, I mean, way to the heavy side, but when I was in high school, it was 185, you know, then heavyweight. Now, you know, you have 189, 195, 215, and then heavyweight. So, yeah, wrestlers are obviously getting bigger, and they didn't change the size of the circle. That and the college and international styles have an expanded zone out there. So you see that a lot, that things will trickle down to the high school level from the college.
Well, Curtis Jackson, Randalls of Abilene, much more competitive here in this second go-around here with Reed Knitter.
Oh, and he just recovers nicely. He made a mistake, got caught on his hip, but he's able to fight out of it, keep that score 0-0. So Jackson here in the top position. Oh, and just like that, Reed Knitter stands up, gets an escape. So 1-0, Reed Knitter, the senior from Clay Center, takes the lead. Good hand fighting going on in there. And this is one of them we talked about that we were looking forward to so far. It's living up to it. Let's see, we're just over a minute left here, so we're halfway through. Reed Knitter tries to duck under. Can't quite get around. Looks like Reed's going for a headlock, but they are out of bounds. Head back to the center with 52 seconds left here. Abilene leads the duel 24-6. Here at 138 pounds. Now this is one of the cases where this match could affect regional seeding. So right now Knitter has a win over Jackson, but if Jackson was to win this one, he has the more recent win. So that should place him ahead of Reed Knitter.
And again, they met earlier this month in Harrington, and it was Randalls losing to Knitter 13-4.
Yeah. Right now, 15 seconds left in the second. It's 1-0 Knitter, so at this point, it appears to be a different match. Just as I talk, Knitter gets a takedown to take a 3-0 lead. Still not the scoring we saw in that first matchup. So Jackson will most likely take the bottom position. Bottom wrestlers usually thinking here, and you know, many times you're looking for, you know, okay, I'm down 3 points. Okay, that's an escape and a takedown. So unless, I mean, if you're a beast on top, then you might work more for the reversal. But at this point, you know, at minimum you want to get the match tied up. So you're looking at escape and a takedown. Knitter doesn't really care what Jackson wants to do. Of course, he's going to go for that, go for the turn, and he's really doing a good job on top here. good control of Jackson Randall's arms. Jackson, well, went flat for a second, but pops back up. Oh, and Jackson hits a nice roll to score 2. So it's now 3-2. So Jackson will work for a while on top. Now, Jackson needs to be careful here on top. He doesn't want to give up 2, which he's unfortunately about to do. So what that did is that puts him down by 3 again. When he was down by 1 and on top, usually if a guy is getting loose, you just push him away and you give him the 1 and you go for the takedown to tie it up. But Knitter was able to get the reversal there. Knitter putting in the half Nelson here. Jumping out to the side, trying to work Jackson Randall's over, but Jackson so far doing a nice job of fighting it off. .28 seconds left here in the third period, 5-2. Reed Knitter, Clay Center leads Jackson Randall's from Abilene. Reed's getting that chicken wing in. See, oh, Jackson trying to get his hips out to get a reversal. Just, oh, Knitter does a nice job of recovering. So no points there, 5 seconds left. It's looking like Reed Knitter is going to earn the victory here. Yep. Nice match, though, for both guys, I'd say. Nice to see a full match and some quality wrestling.
So Knitter wins 5-2. And that makes the score now 24-9. 24-9 now the count. So now we're going to have at 145 pounds for Abilene, Austin Withnow, and for Clay Center, Ethan Kirkby. Withnow a senior, 14-9. Kirkby is a freshman, 0-2.
Yeah, Austin, one of our seniors. He did take 8th at the Bobcat tournament. That was a very nice tournament for him. He came through the back door, just got win after win after win. Oh, and he gets the takedown. He gets the fall 18 seconds into the match.
That deserves a wow. Austin Withnow, as you said, 18 seconds in. And that pushes the score now to 30-9.
Yeah, that was a senior against a freshman,
yeah,
so you kind of feel for the Clay Center kid. That was a tough position to be put into, but
well,
he'll be back and he'll keep fighting. I know he will.
Well, and also he doesn't have a lot of varsity experience. He was just 0-2 for Kirkby, so it was a tough circumstance for him. Now at 152 we have Brandon Surrett, and he is taking on Ethan Alquist, and Surrett is a senior, 6-16 for Abilene, and Alquist for Clay Center, a sophomore, 16-12 his record. They did meet at the Beloit Invitational, and that was in consolation round 1 with Alquist winning that 9-5. And we think Surrett's coming.
Here he comes. Yeah. I think he was getting his headgear on. That's one thing with wrestling is you have to be fully ready to wrestle when you walk on the mat. If, say, he didn't have his headgear on, it'd be a point.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and you have to have your laces covered up, your shoelaces taped, or most of the wrestling shoes now have a Velcro flap on them.
So again, the only other rematch that has happened this year is these two. We saw it earlier with Knitter and Randalls. This is the only other one that we're going to get to see tonight.
Alquist trying to work his hips up and get a takedown here. Grabbing the near leg, and he gets loose and does get the takedown. So Ethan Alquist takes a 2-0 lead here. Head out of bounds, we'll go back to the center. Yeah, Braden's been, it's nice to have guys like that to fill in some of these spots, like 152 pounds, where have a senior come in and cover that spot for us. He's done a nice job.
So we're pretty much at the halfway point of this duel. We'll only have 3 matches left after this. Clay Center again with 6 open weights tonight.
Alquist working Braden Surrett on his back. does have back points. Alquist from Clay Center will be looking for more. Surratt almost got out of it. Now, and Alquist pulls him back. Now Braden's in a little bit of a tough position. Alquist having a chance to tighten things up and work for that fall.
Oh, he's real close.
You can tell once a kid gets on top like that, and taste the blood, so to speak.
Right.
You could really go at it, and he is. Braden does give up the fall here at 152 pounds, so Ethan Alquist from Clay Center gets the victory.
So Alquist wins by fall, 1:38 in. 1:38 in, and that makes it now 30-15 Abilene. I want to remind folks that this broadcast of Abilene Clay Center Wrestling is brought to you by Patterson Healthcare Pharmacy in Abilene, Amanda's Bakery and Bistro, Hoffman Construction of Hope, KVK Incorporated Heating and Air Conditioning of Woodbine. Now we move here to 160. Trenton Withnow, senior 8'9", taking on Sean Little of Clay Center, a sophomore 4'22". Again, this is 160 pounds. We already had Austin Withnow. Now we have Trenton Withnow.
Yeah, this is a match that kind of intrigued me. Oh, and Sean Little from Clay Center, nice takedown. Hit a little high crotch there and got around and got the 2. Trenton Withnow, usually a 152-pounder for us, but moving up to help the team. Dakota Lawn out today, unfortunately, so I'm sure he'll be back. So, it's another one of those cases like you had at 106 where you have a guy at a different weight class, but, in this case, the Abilene wrestlers moved up, and the Clay Center wrestler, Little, a sophomore coming in with a 4'22" record. You just really don't know what to expect, but so far Little's doing a great job here.
And it may not sound like a lot, but to folks that don't know wrestling, it matters probably more than you would think, jumping up a weight class.
Yeah, you notice it, trust me. Yeah, it doesn't sound like much. And of course, at the lower weights, it's a greater percentage, you might say, so it's really noticeable down there. But even at this weight class, it's an obvious thing. I can bring up many examples. So where guys have changed weight classes and thought they'd do well, and it didn't go so well for them.
Well, even Will, your nephew, tried it at Baser Linwood, just wanted to test the waters he went from what, to 113 to 120.
Right, and took 5th place, and which, is something Will is not used to. Lost to a wrestler he had beaten last year, actually, the Andel wrestler. Little from Clay Center does have Withnow on his back, right off the mat, looking for more, and
he gave it to him. Did he give it to him?
I think it was just after the buzzer.
Okay.
The referee did slap the mat, but it was just a fraction of a second after the buzzer went off.
So Sean Little with a 5-0 lead over. There's a lot of Withnows, so we don't want to confuse you. This is Trenton Withnow, so a 5-0 lead here going into this second period.
Yeah, and we have some Withnows in the kids wrestling program too, so there's more coming. I always tell them you can't have too many Withnows.
No, exactly.
So it's now 6-0 in Little's favor.
And the question folks might be asking, and I even get confused. Now we have 3 tonight. Now they're not all brothers, right?
Right. No.
I don't. You don't even have to connect the dots. It's too confusing. Just wanting to clarify that. But they are related.
Brothers and cousins.
Yep. There you go.
Little gets another takedown here. Take an 8-0 lead. So now he's in the major decision territory. Once you get ahead by 8 to 14 points, that's considered a major decision. But Little's wanting a little bit more than that. He's working his cradle. Looks like he's going to have to give that up. Withnow thought he was going into a stand-up. The ref is actually looking for locked hands, but did not see it. Little did a good job of letting go. Withnow gets the takedown, the escape. We're hoping for a takedown now.
And Sean Little, I mean, he's licking his chops. It's been a tough year for him, but he is just a sophomore. It's always tougher at that weight, being younger. but he's really wanting to get a victory.
Yeah, it's a big difference being a sophomore at this weight class at 160 compared to being a sophomore at 106, 113, 120, somewhere in there. So many times kids, if they're freshman, sophomore at this weight class, you just wait a year or two, and big difference. Now gets behind Little, but cannot get him down for the takedown. Just 5 seconds left here in the second period. 8-1. Little from Clay Center will have the lead going into the third period. Clay Center's choice. And for position, we'll see what Little chooses.
And an 8-1 lead for him, Sean Little.
Little chooses the bottom position. So we'll now have an opportunity on top, see what he can do here. Little does a nice job of standing up, works the hands and gets free, gets his hips out of there. That was nice. That's something you want to see the wrestlers do when they stand up, is get their hips away. I have trouble teaching that on the kids level sometimes. They just stay in there close, but when you're the bottom wrestler, distance between hips is your friend. It's a good way to look at it. You really want distance between hips in most cases. So Little did a nice job there to turn his 8-1 lead into a 9-1 lead. So, minute 20 left here in the match. Little in a front headlock position right on the edge of the mat. Looks like a front headlock from here. It's hard to see, but.
And again, Abilene leading this duel 30-15. Clay Center's been hurt by a lot of open weights tonight, because really they've wrestled a pretty good duel so far.
Yeah.
Just been hurt by open weights.
Yep. Yeah, like I said, it's hard to overcome that 36 points at the start, just handing the other team. But, injury and illness, that numbers were down a little bit, but then you add injury and illness in, and it just makes the job almost impossible. Wow, it's Trenton Wolf now here, gets a takedown, gets it to 9-3, gets out of the major decision. Trenton seems to have a little burst of energy here with 30 seconds to go. Let's see if he can do something more with it. At this point, it's pretty much, you're going to have to pin him if you want to win the match. Now, of course, Little, he's doing what he needs to do. He's just being defensive down there on bottom. That's just called smart wrestling. Oh, and he does a nice job getting up to his feet. Wolf now brings him back down. 5 seconds left here. So Little from Clay Center, the sophomore, will get the victory by a 9-3 decision.
So Little does win 9-3 the count, and that makes the score now 30-18 Abilene. 30-18 Abilene is the score. A couple of open weights here for the Tigers. I'm going to go ahead and pass something along real quick. You are watching this on Eagle Communications, of course listening on KBI, but the replay of the Abilene versus Clay Center wrestling duel will be on Eagle Channel 2 at 3 and 8 this Saturday. So it'll be on at 3 and 8 this Saturday on Eagle. And if you do not have Eagle cable service, you can watch at www.eaglecomtv.net. So Abilene picking up forfeit points here at 170. Dakota Whiteley, no opponent. From Clay Center at 182, Colby Moore, no opponent for Abilene. So Clay Center open at those two weights. That makes it all of a sudden 42-18. 195 now, Josiah Swartz Sr., 1-2, taking on Zach Bollinger, a freshman, 1-6. So a couple of guys, Curtis, here that are very hungry for a win.
Yeah, Josiah goes right to a trip. Puts Bollinger on his back, looking for the fall. Schwartz is senior, but this is actually his first year of wrestling, so he's looking for a fall, and he does get the fall. So what, 24 seconds into the match, Josiah Schwartz, first year wrestler, but a senior for Abilene, gets the fall. Of course, there's a big difference between the Clay Center wrestler, Bollinger, a freshman. There's a big difference between the senior body and a freshman body. So he's another one of those, give him a couple years or a year or two and see where he is.
So Abilene extends out that lead now to 48-18. We move now to 220 and 220. Clay Center is open. Dawson Wood now for Abilene. He won't get an opponent. So that'll push the score up now to 54-18. with Abilene now extending that lead up to that. And our final match of the night will be Brandon Parker, a sophomore, 12-10, taking on Logan McDonald, a junior, 20-8. So Parker, this young man that was varsity part of the year, but at 220, so this is a tough assignment for him for Abilene. You can obviously see with the 2 frames there that he's a significantly less weight.
Yeah, Brandon, you know, did a great job for Abilene all year long, and this is another case where our depth is just really nice to see. A 220-pounder moving up, doing what he can for the team.
And Abilene has a really good heavyweight in Adam Henley. I'm bummed I don't get to see him tonight. He has a shoulder injury.
Yeah, he'll be back. There's just a little bit of rest is all he needs, and he'll be fine. Just one of those cases, you know, regionals is your goal here. You know, do well at regionals.
And then that'll be again at Lindsborg Smoky Valley. That'll be the 15th and 16th. And then the following week, state will be at, once again, Saline at the Tony's Pizza Event Center.
Yeah, McDonald from Clay Center, he's had a really good season. He's 20-8. Took 3rd at Beloit and 2nd at Harrington. And he has defeated Henley this year, but unfortunately we won't see a matchup today. Parker going for a throw, and he got his hips up. That was the big thing with that throw, is if the big guy can get his hips around and up, and he did, but Logan McDonald from Clay Center is able to get his hips away, and this time Logan gets Parker down, and it's a definite 2 this time, and the referee is counting now, so there will be back points, but Logan McDonald from Clay Center is looking for more, and he does get it. A minute and a half into the match, Logan McDonald from Clay Center earns the fall.
So McDonald wins by fall, 30 seconds in, and your final tonight will be 54-24, with Abilene getting the team victory. We'll take a timeout and we'll be back, and we will wrap things up here from Clay Center High School. You were listening to Abilene and Clay Center Wrestling on KABI.